Kalalal, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kodash, the Brennas, the apostles of James Great Millstone. This is Ashar from James Finland, and just here with a quick lesson. Right? This is a common thing when people can't go around the scriptures, them say, oh, it contradicts itself. Right? So we not even prolong, we getting right into it. Count where Esau was mentioned in the scripture, right? And we know that the devil tampered with the script, right? We're in English, right? In the translation, so you have to study the root of words, and you have to go into the scripture, yo. So let's just prove it without the meaning. We're gonna get the meaning same way for Easter, but we're just going to prove it without the meaning to show that these scripture ties one to another. Right? This is Acts 12, verse 3. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to the 4 quarters of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Right? So what we just read here is that the same day of unleavened bread is the same Easter it's talking about. Right? So after the day of unleavened bread, which them say is Easter, them would kill him. Right? So let's find out what is the day of unleavened bread, as the scripture say. Alright. Right, this wasn't the scripture I was going for, but this is straight cut, yo. So let's get some scripture before and then go to that straight cut. You say Matthew 26, verse 17. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciple came to Yahushua, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? Right, the same Passover that them capture him, yo. Right, when Judas sold out. Right, the same unleavened bread, which is the same Passover. Yeah, I was trying to make this lesson a good. There's no need, yo. Right, this is just straight out and plain. It's a Luke 22, verse 1. Now the feast of unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover. Right? So that's simply it, yo. And this is how the scripture say. This is how the script say you must read it. That's why this thought of reading the scripture like a novel doesn't cut it, yo. Right? This is Isaiah 28, verse 10. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Here a little and there a little. Right? Cause this scripture was written in parable, as verse 13 I go say. But the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backwards and be broken and snared and taken. Right, so the script wasn't meant for everybody. That's why you have this struggle in the world right now, that people have to say, yo, even Christians, right, when we come up against Christians, them have to say, yo, the scripture contradicts itself, right, because them don't get the understanding, yo, right. So yeah, with that, the breakdown is basically over. I thought it would be longer than that. Oh, for the interest of time, right? Just I go in the word in a ox, right? They have unleavened bread. Easter. It's a Paschal sacrifice which was accustomed to be offered for the people's deliverance of old from Egypt. The Paschal lamb, the lamb that the Israelites accustomed to slay and eat on the 14th day of the month of Nisan, right? The month of their year, in which memories of the day on which their fathers prepared to depart from Egypt, bidding by God to slay and eat a lamb and sprinkle their door with its blood, that the destroying angels in the blood might pass over their dwellings. Christ crucified like unto the slain of Paschal lamb, right, is a Paschal feast, the feast of Passover, right? It's a Easter Passover, right? So that's it, yo. Yeah. Simple cut. Alright, that's why the scripture said this as well. Right, 2 Timothy 2 verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Right? So that's exactly how you divide it. Study. And word meaning are very important, as you see me going into the word little while. Right? But the scriptures, yo, is amazing. The scriptures tie with each other, and you can show clearly without even meanings sometime that these errors are wrong, yo, right? Because with these errors, it would contradict the whole script, right? Because it's simple, yo. Easter is a day where them eat and leavened bread, right? Them Easter bun, them cheese, right? Very contradicting to the Passover where you eat unleavened bread. So with that, I hope this video was edifying. Kalalalia Obashemi Ashai Bashar Makakodash, the brothers, the apostles of James Great Stone. Shalom to the brothers out there pushing this word in sincerity, and the sisters out there, right, doing their duty. Shalom.